All right, what's up, guys? Welcome to episode 10 of the At the Zero podcast with the usuals. What's going on, guys?
What's up? What's
Not
up?
much, man.
What's up? What's up?
So,
What's up?
what's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? So last time we
Wanna
got
party?
I think we ended on the topic of we were talking about matchmaking specifically in Overwatch, but kind of just talking about matchmaking in general in games. So I know last podcast we were talking with Brandon about it, but he's not here, so it's just gonna be us talking about it and how we feel about it. So I mean, we've granted our good amount share of Overwatch. We've turned partially into an Overwatch channel now. But yeah, how you guys feel about the matchmaking in Overwatch, both role queue and I mean, I don't think anyone here has played open queue or gives a shit about open queue.
I mean, open queue is just cancer.
Like it's just gonna be tanks
It's
and
just
fucking a
four
support.
tanks, one healer,
Yeah,
mainly Moira.
a shit show is what it sounds like.
Mainly Mora. Yeah, I feel like it's
Yeah.
just a bunch of Winstons, Zaryas, just jumping around, just causing you to just hate your life. So yeah, I'm not playing fucking open queue. I'll tell you that.
So yeah, what are you guys' thoughts on this matchmaking compared to what you've experienced in other games and things of that nature?
So I mean, as far as being locked out of being able to queue with your friends in certain roles, especially in this game, I feel if you're 5 stacking, you should be able to just pick whatever roles you want, regardless of rank. I think it's stupid to where you have people that want to just main one singular role, but they can't play that role when they go to queue with us because of where their rank is.
It makes them not want to play the game.
Yeah, it makes them just not want to play, and they don't get to excel at the role that they want. So I just think that it's stupid if you're queuing as a full team to be locked out of roles. I think that's dumb.
So what do you think then? Like on that subject, then what do you think? Like how would you queue that up if you're just allowing the 5 stack to be the 5 stack in whatever role they want? Like who would you queue them against, or how would you
So I
think to
think if you're
approach that?
I think if you're queuing as a full team, you should just queue against other full teams. And it really should just come down to like you're running scrims almost. Like if you're gonna sit there and queue as a team and work on strategy and positioning and all of the different aspects that go into the game, you should just queue
what
into
you're
other
working on?
teams doing the same thing. No, that's
Yeah,
not.
I haven't seen him. I have not seen him work on any of the things you just mentioned. So I was like,
I'm working on doing dumb shit in game and climbing walls.
Boy's a Kiriko main now.
I mean, I kind of agree with Sean. There was a long time where the Rocket League community pushed for there to be a team queue where every time you queue with the team, that team has its own MMR. Where that way you have like it's based off
was
everyone's
that
average.
the club? Was that the club?
Yeah, that's
thing?
kind of like what they were. That they never implemented it into that extent, but that was kind of what people wanted. Was hey, if I queue with us three queue, and then let's say like we queue with Brandon and we take Sean out or anything like that, our MMR would be different. So I could see a system like that being the best. And like Sean said, it's just like only 5 stacks. I'd much rather have a better experience and have my friends play what they want to play than care about the queue time. I would rather wait and get a good match because there's also a ton of fun custom games to pass the time anyway. So it's kind of my.
Well, I also think like on that, when it comes to like when you're 5 stacking, you care more about your 5 stack than your like actual ranks, right? Like you care about playing together. So I'm on that side as well, and I think even Overwatch 1 had it at a point where you were able to queue with any rank before they put in a rule for that, and it would always queue you against like the highest ranked players like MMR. Which is kind of how I see that should go in general when you're 5 stacking, because it's like you're worried about the carrying, and honestly the 5 stack, if they're playing, if a top 500 is playing with a bronze, they just want to play together.
Yeah.
They just want to play the game, and it's like essentially that bottom player can figure something out, or they can like start learning the game in that way. It just allows them to play together.
Where I've experienced this right now, Rocket League does have queue disparities. But when I chose to queue with Nick and Jared in Rocket League, it put me against people that were in champ. And, what is it, Grand Champ?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, GC. And yeah, I'm nowhere near that skill level. But it was a good learning experience for me because it made me play at a faster pace. It made me try to attempt things that I wouldn't have tried at my own rank. So like it helped me learn the game faster, and I feel like I was able to play a bit better because of that, even when I started to like solo queue a little bit.
I feel like
But,
you're probably gonna remember those highlights a lot more too. Like when you actually do something
It matters
crazy
so
for
much
yourself.
more. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like when I started hitting, balls midair off the wall, I was like, "Yo, I've never done this shit
not till I
before."
see it. I don't believe you did that till I see
I
it.
I'm gonna
did-
be
no,
honest with you. He
Jared's
said
seen
it.
it.
He said balls plural, and I was like, it was like ball.
It's like
I don't
two.
know if it was
Jared's
like balls.
multiple.
It's like
like
two.
you're
Yeah,
making plays constantly.
I'm skeptical on the balls plural, but I'll give him the ball singular. So, you know.
But yeah,
Will,
like I
will
feel
you?
but I feel like, if you're queuing into that and you know that you're going to be matched against people of that skill level, right? Or if
Yeah.
they did
Mhm.
something like Clash in League, where it takes an average MMR of everybody who's on the team and then matches you against similar MMRs.
Is Clash not a
Like,
set pool of like people that join the Clash?
it's
Or it's
out
completely
of the
open?
ranks. It's out of the ranks of all 5 people, and then it spits out an average MMR, and then you're
Okay.
matched against people of that.
And I guess I
Gotcha.
didn't know how the Clash MMR worked, but I remember being in it, and then based off how you do in Clash, it does like adjust your rank pretty quickly. But overall, I feel like the Overwatch system, I don't think it's too bad because it's not the worst. Is all I'll say. I think having limitations on who you can queue with is pretty standard at this point. However, I think that it's just counterintuitive to fun, and I could see where
Yeah.
it's like, oh well, it's meant to stop boosting and all this. It's like, dude, the amount of people boosting versus the amount of people playing with their friends, I would argue, just off the top of my head, one heavily outfavors the other, and I don't think that smurfing or boosting is the majority. Like, I don't see how that's even possible.
I'm with you there too. Because I mean, I think it's a lot of it too is like when you run into those Smurfs and like boosted players, you just remember them a lot more than just your normal games that you have, because it's such a like demoralizing and annoying thing to even deal with. So it's like you just remember those moments more than the others.
It's easy to remember the negatives than it is the positives.
Right.
That's true with anything. So I think it's a lot of that. So then you have like people in the community or just people who play ranked who kind of feel that like, oh my god, Smurfs are rampant. Which like I don't know. It's hard to say because you did ask earlier how I feel about the matchmaking, and I feel like the actual MMR disparities are so dog shit because every game feels like a different MMR. I'm like, I don't understand what is different between silver, gold, and plat right now because every game feels identical, and there's always one guy who just sandbags so fucking hard. So I'm like, I don't know what the difference is. I don't know. I just know that these motherfuckers are stupid. That's all I know.
Yeah. It's definitely weird because I watched a video today on how Tim was actually talking about how the rank system feels weird because he'll go from like 3 matches of straight rolling people into like queues with grandmasters and stuff like that, like GMs. And on his team, he'll have a single GM player, and then it'll be all plats and him. And he's like, "How the fuck did we get matched with plats? Like, I thought GMs were queuing with GMs."
You know, that almost sounds like someone's fixing the matchmaking. I've heard of some ranked games where that's happened, and it's mainly because the person who's queuing at the GM rank or at the big disparity is queuing from another region, and it like fucks up. This actually happened in Rocket League for a long time. Yeah, where people would VPN, or not even VPN, they would I think they would VPN to where they were in like Australia, and then they would get queued with like silvers in America for some reason. I think it has to do with the way a lot of the algorithms are made. So I've actually heard that, and it wasn't just Rocket League. I think I'm trying to remember what else did it. I don't think it was Siege. There was another game that it was like a similar experience to where people who
I think Apex.
Was it Apex? Yeah.
Too, yeah.
It's like there's literally predators in like bronze lobbies or something.
Yeah, because if you go to the Australian servers from the United States, you'll match into mainly gold lobbies because there isn't that many people playing in Australia.
Right. Oh, I think that's what it is. Yeah. You don't, you play from the US and you connect to Australia, and then you get these people who are such low ranks because there's not a pool of larger players, but then you still get the same MMR points because it matched you in that game. So I've heard of this before, so I'm not.
And even
shocked.
it wasn't just Tim that mentioned this with Overwatch. It was what is it, Seagulls and Jay. They both mentioned it in a couple of videos where they were matched and they went to look at the profiles. Like, dude, there's a silver player in the lobby. Graham, what the fuck?
You're cutting out a little bit, by the way.
I
missed that last part.
So It said Jay was sitting there in one of his videos. He's like, "Yo, why is there a silver on my team? How I'm Grandmaster 1. How does this happen?"
You literally can't even queue together to even like try to
Yeah.
play with each other.
And that's kind of
broken.
that's kind of what I don't like about this system in Overwatch. How there's not a transparency on ranks. I really don't like that at all.
Yeah.
Or just like anything in general, like anything regarding ranks in general.
Nothing in the rank system makes sense. So you're just kind of at the whims of the developer, and it makes it seem like not that they're hiding something per se, but that it just doesn't feel good when I'm like, all right, well, I played 7, I played my 7 wins or whatever, and I ranked. I'm like, but I don't know which way I'm gonna go. I don't know how bad I need this next win. And on top of that, I go into a ranked game, and I don't know if these guys are gold, silver. Because at the end of the day, I get where people are being toxic, but at the same time, it does let me know, hey, my tank is silver. I may need to like babysit them a little bit. Yeah, like that.
So
that type of stuff is helpful to me.
Well,
the weird thing that's you remember when we lost all those games the other day?
Yeah, like 2 days ago.
And then and then we did our 7 and we both went up.
No, I went down on mine. No, I went down on mine.
Well, I went up 2 off of that. That's what we were in the same games, and it just was weird because I that was when I hit plat in DPS because I was like, oh dude, I'm definitely going down, right? We like lost like 4 straight, and then we finally finished the 7, and all of a sudden I was in plat. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah. Well, I've heard some other like Overwatch content creators talk about this rank system in Overwatch specifically, and saying how it's kind of nice because after every match, people don't see their shit moving up and down, so it kind of like makes them, or the people that it affects makes them want to queue some more. But I feel like it's a much weirder feeling when it's like, one, you don't see your losses, so automatically a lot of people are assuming that they're just getting 7 wins. They're not thinking about their losses at all and being like, why am I ranking down? But also it's weird when I go from gold 4, I get the promotion page, or the skill setting page that comes up, and then it's like gold 4 again after the 7 wins.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and it's just weird to see. Like,
it
I understand
looks
why
like
it's
a
doing
glitch.
that.
It looks like a glitch.
It's like I know why it's doing it because of however my losses were and stuff like that. But it's just I just feel like it's very odd.
I think that I think that's a good thing about it, right?
Looking up again.
In terms of, it's good that people aren't seeing that and it like doesn't destroy their mental. But for me, I actually don't even care if I win or lose. I more care about the shit that happens in the game. So even if we win, but dumb shit happens, it will still like bother me. Where I'm like, dude, how do we lose that point? It's like, we won. I'm like, I know, but how do we lose that point? Like, that's so stupid. And like, I don't care so much about the wins and losses more than just like the actual performance itself. So for me, I think the system just is trash. Like, it looks stupid. It doesn't tell you anything. Also, why the fuck is it 7 wins or 21 losses? What are these
20.
figures based off of? Oh, is it 20?
It's 7 wins or 20 losses.
I don't even know the fucking number.
Yeah, it's still odd. Like, what? Yeah, like, why did they choose for your adjustment to be at those points?
I'm gonna be honest. If you lose 20 games before you win 7, I'm gonna need you to go back a whole tier. Like, I'm gonna be real. Like, I think
that's how that works.
I kind of want to do it just to find out. Like, fuck around and find out. You know what I mean? Just to see.
They just put you back in bronze 5 immediately.
It's just
but you know what? It's because they're getting us to play that one more game, because it's like we've had it multiple nights where everyone's like, oh, I need one more to to see my ranking. So like, all right, let's play one more then.
Yeah, it's like ooh, if you just play 1 or 2 more wins, you'll get that new rank, and then you get the same rank you had before, and it just it doesn't actually. I think what bothers me the most is that it doesn't feel like you're achieving anything. Because I feel like with every big goal, you need little goals in between it to make it feel like good and like to know how you're on track. And with the system with how it is now, it doesn't feel that way at all. It just feels like I'm just playing games and I'm like, oh, look, a new rank, Whereas like before, it's like you build and build and build. Oh my God, I know if I win this, game, I get my rank. Like, that's a really good feeling.
It's also just weird because it's like you're only showing the wins, and it's like, why can't I see the losses too?
Yeah.
Like I don't understand that point. Like it's not all positive, it's not all good. We know that playing this game. You know what I mean?
I just miss having my shiny emblem beneath my character portrait. You know what I'm saying?
Or seeing those emblems when you load into game and things like
Right.
that. Like it's
And being
I
like,
don't know.
oh,
It's
this is gonna be a hard game, you know,
as,
or like,
yeah. As much as I'm enjoying Overwatch 2, it's like those things outside of the game, or outside the gameplay, are the ones that are like just odd to see.
I think it makes
Because it almost feels like a quick match game.
It makes ranked. Now I was about to say it makes ranked not feel like ranked. It feels like I'm playing quick match because when the screen loads up and it shows the team that's playing, it doesn't show the borders. It doesn't show the ranks. It doesn't show any of that shit like it did in Overwatch 1. It just shows whatever portrait they pick, and then you have the 5 stack that's like, ooh, look, we're all octopus or whatever. Like that's the most.
It's weird
that
because it's like
is.
we're playing ranked because we want to show something off, right? Like that's why people play it. But also talking on that front, like when going back to the whole matchmaking thing with like your group and things of that nature, I want to ask you how you guys feel about like the people that say, you know, if you want to do that, just play quick play.
Well, I mean, honestly, are they wrong? No.
Well,
I don't think they're wrong, but at the same time, like quick play can be pretty trolly for the most part. Like everyone's just kind of doing their own thing, so it almost isn't like it's not fun steamrolling through teams.
Well, also like the people that say that are the same people that tell people to go to quick play to play certain characters, right? Because those characters aren't the meta picks; they're the troll picks, like Jared was saying. It's for more trolling and stuff like that. So you don't actually get people that are being competitive and trying to win. They're just doing shit, right? Where it's like when you're a competitive environment, it's like you want the challenge because you're trying to challenge yourself to get better, or learn something new, things of that nature.
Right. I mean, it kind of
or like dude, in our quick match today where we had 2 supports that weren't even healing, they're just DPSing. So it's like the DPS don't really play their roles, or the tanks don't really play their roles. We're just here. We're all just here.
The quick play thing is like it just takes away that competitive integrity, I guess, where you just don't have that same level of like focus,
right?
And
there's no stakes. I feel like
there's nothing to really care about. You know, oh, I ran into the team and died, and now I'm staggered. Who gives a shit?
And it's like I want to play with my team and be like, be that semi-serious, or sometimes have those really sweaty matches.
Right.
Even if they're not as good as I am, right? So
yeah, it definitely just doesn't feel like quick play does anything for that side of it. It just doesn't appeal to that. Like having that bit of competition in the back of your mind, even if you don't care too much about your rank, like I don't give a rat's ass if I go gold or platinum. But when dumb shit happens in the game, I'm like, oh my god, we died to that dumb shit, guys. Like, come on. I just care about that. I don't care about the rank. I don't care about losing. I'm just like, can we not be fucking stupid for 2 seconds? That's all I care about, right? So for me, it's like, but whenever I play quick play, I don't give a fuck what happens. I literally do not care.
That's what we're just here so we don't get fined. Like that's the attitude everyone has.
Like, and honestly, if I'm playing healer, I'm probably just shooting people. I'm not even gonna try to heal. Like, I'm just like, fuck it, dude. I'm just jumping around doing dumb shit. Like, because I'm like, why should I care? That's how I see quick play.
Right.
Why should I care? Why should I even put effort in, like a conscious effort into like, winning?
Yeah.
Which I think is basically shared by everyone.
Yeah. So did you guys hear about Call of Duty is now going to have ranked queues?
You're cutting out a little bit again.
You said Call of Duty has ranked queue?
Call of Duty is adding ranked queues.
Is that not like I haven't played Call of Duty in forever, so
what's the format for their ranked queues? Is it like search and destroy ranked queues, TDM?
There's gonna be multiple playlists. I don't know the specifics. I just saw a little article on it that they're adding ranked queues. They heard the community loud and clear that everybody wants ranked in video games.
So like, what was it? Just like with the other Call of Duty games, because I'm pretty sure the last one I took serious was like Modern Warfare 2.
Mm-hmm.
So like with the more recent ones, is the competitive game mode like everyone it's like a gentleman's agreement in the community, or a community rule that like search and destroys the.
What do they play in CDL?
Competitive mode?
So Call of Duty League, they play multiple. There's what is it, the zone, the one
the
where
capture,
the one where you're over 1 point and the point rotates.
King of the Hill, basically, or something like that.
Kind of, it's like that, but it's
I know which mode you're talking about,
or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
There was that. There was search and destroy. There was team deathmatch. and I'm pretty sure 2-bomb, the one where there's a neutral bomb
Mhm.
that
Yeah.
both teams are trying to plant
Yeah,
on.
I'm actually surprised. I would have assumed that Call of Duty just had ranked queues, honestly.
Yeah,
I
but
actually think it's funny that Call of Duty would be the ones to do this, only because I feel like a large group of people who don't like ranked or skill based matchmaking are Call of Duty
I'm
players.
playing Call of Duty.
Like that's like the game where they're like they don't want skill based matchmaking, and I feel like in my experience that Call of Duty players are the most prominent ones to try to drop like a 40 bomb, where they're like, "Ooh, let's play Warzone and try to get this 40 bomb in like a dog shit lobby." And I just feel like the mentality of the community as a whole isn't one that's like pushing for ranked. It's either CDL or it's casuals, and it's like, how good do you do in your casuals? You know what I mean?
So they said that with ranked play will also come new competitive modes, ranked skill divisions, visible skill ratings, a top 250 leaderboard, and competitive rewards, all within ranked play game
Yeah,
modes.
it's your pretty modern, ranked system.
So they haven't gone into details as to what it's going to be a mosh pit type playlist. So it's going to be a bunch of game modes.
Honestly, I prefer like seeing multiple game modes.
Yeah, I think that's better anyways.
Just because like we talked about before, as far as like player skill, it shows like different sides of it instead of like this one person just specializes in this one thing, and that's all they know how to do, and they just get clapped everywhere else.
I mean, being as I've played a lot of Call of Duty in my life, I think it's pretty cool that they're finally adding a ranked mode. Just because I like competition.
Yeah, Call of Duty players really got competitive in quick match. That's crazy.
Yeah,
dude, that's what's wild is like they care so, and then like that's what's weird is hitting clips and being like proud of them when it's just like, dude, these are shitters. Like these are shitters. You think of
like one of our siblings like jumping on the game and just playing it for the first time.
Yeah,
it's like I would hit a clip on them too. Like,
that's that dude that does 720 off the rooftop and no scopes you.
Yeah, I never quite understood. I never understood like the whole thing of like hitting clips. I don't feel good hitting clips when the players are just bad. Well, because to me, it's like it's not so much getting the clip more than it is like how you got the clip. You know what I mean?
Right.
It makes me think of like Dude Perfect and stuff like that. Like you saw before. You remember? I forget what it was called, but the sniper kit had it to where you could place your spawn point, and it was the one where it had the skyscraper on the side that you would put it on. And you would jump off and do your 720s. Trying to hit a shot, and you do it over and over again.
He's talking about. Oh, you're talking about the map that has like. What is it? Skyscraper, skyrise, high rise, something like that.
Yeah, so something like that. And it's like they do it over and over, and then they hit the clip, and then that's all that's seen. Not the like 100 times they fell off the map just doing this in some random ass lobby.
I mean, I don't care about that one. I just care more about like the players aren't good. You know what I mean? Like they're not good. So does the clip really matter? Doesn't for me. It's like cool you hit it, but like
I think that's why there's so many upset skill-based matchmaking Call of Duty players.
Yeah, because they can't do those things for free.
Yeah, because they can't just run around the map and no scope people.
This is actually what was happening in Rocket League too. Like most recently in the last like 2 months, Rocket League started banning Smurfs who were like purposely deranking themselves in quick play MMR
for content creation,
just to make these clips. And then people are like, what's the point if no one's going to play the goal? Like, if there's no opposition who can block the shot, then the shot's not good. Right. It's just like, go to free play to do it. People are like, well, no one likes the clips if it's in free play. It's like, so hit them on good players. They're like, well, we can't. And it's like, that's the point.
That's the point. The point of the clip is that it was dope because you hit it on good players.
Yeah, like if you look at highlights from, pro player, anything like that, you'll see really good clips hit on really good players, which is why the clip is so good.
Well, what about this is also Rocket League clip? Like that clip's legendary.
That shot, like any high level Rocket League player that's like champ or above can make that shot for the most part.
Yeah.
The shot's not that good. It's about the moment, the timing, the execution. It didn't touch the floor, like all this shit against the best team in the world.
Yeah, 6 seconds left or something.
Oh no, it was a buzzer beater. It was a buzzer beater.
Yeah.
So it's
Rocket League.
This is Rocket
League. It's
like
that clip is infamous for all those factors, not because the shot was insane.
Yeah,
it was for the caster. The caster made that clip.
Oh yeah, Shogun's goated. Shogun's goated for sure. I just think it's weird to be so like That's why I never thought FaZe was cool. I always have thought FaZe was the wackest fucking org. I'll stand by that. They're all whack as fuck. All right, hot
Well,
take. FaZe sucks dick. They're all douchebags, and then they're all just like hype beasts. Like they're just the gaming version of hype beasts, and
I
they're
mean,
just whack.
they did a lot of what I was talking about, where it's like they just like they reset themselves multiple times until they hit the clip, and that's what gets posted, right? And it's just like, okay, like cool, I guess. It's like you see the clip and you're like, oh damn, that's sick, and then you see the full video where this guy died like 10 times jumping off and missing the shot.
Yeah.
And like he just they're just hoping it in the wind to hit the shot.
I think it's
like, okay.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things of when you do it too many times or the skill isn't that hard. It's like, well, this is more about the attempts than it is the actual shot. So
Yeah,
I'm
it's
just
like
not
eventually,
impressed.
yes, you will hit it, right? Like,
Yeah.
Like, do you remember the fucking dumbass clips from Modern Warfare 2 of the scope bend with the throwing knife? You would do the
No.
quick scope with the intervention, and
No,
you
I
would
don't
hit the
remember that
throwing
one.
knife button as your shot went off, and it would tilt your scope with the throwing knife
No,
reticle.
I don't remember that.
They're like tilt scopes or some shit like that. But I remember doing that dumbass shit in custom games. Like,
Yeah, it's just I never thought it was cool because if you see two people like 1v1ing on Rust and they're like,
oh,
you know,
it's fucking
and they're just
stupid.
missing. Like if you stand next to them, they're just spinning. They're like, boom, and they're shooting the dirt. You're like,
one hits the shot, and they're like, yeah, that's right.
God forbid somebody say last kill on the quick scopes with the intervention in Modern Warfare 2 on Rust had to be a 360.
they'll be
Like,
there for
dude,
10 years.
Everybody
Yeah.
was just like jumping off of shit and just trying everything under the sun.
And then that person that hits the shot feels so good about themselves, talking like big shit, like they're the baddest thing around.
Yeah, it's just
Get
fucked. It's just like
it's just like, I don't know.
It's
about
just
that
whack.
one.
I'm just not impressed by. I mean, even with like Dude Perfect type of stuff, like even bringing that up, it's like kind of the same thing. It's like if you just throw the basketball enough times across the court, it's gonna happen. But if you're doing something that's like not the average person can do or not, then that's different to me, right? Like for an example, I said that's what's different with these gaming montage sort of clips. Like Dude Perfect, they have like professional athletes who legitimately only they have the talent to execute it at that level. So it's entertaining. Like they had a guy who does pull trick shots named like the Viper or whatever. I forgot his actual name.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But his skill level in trick shotting is insane, right? No one can replicate some of the shots he can. But then in gaming, it's like you're not doing anything that's like proprietary, so to speak. Everyone could do this if I just sat here and also did 100 attempts.
Yeah. It's
so
stuff, I mean, like off the walls crazy.
Like kudos to you for hitting it, but it's like if you just tried enough, you'd probably hit it too.
I mean, they're getting there before anyone else, right? Like they're posting the video about it, so it's like people see that and props to them for that. I guess
it was like all the different bullet hole peaks in fucking Rainbow. All the trick shot ones where it's like I shot through 3 floors right at the start of the round.
It's like, all right, it's like the fucking coconut bra video.
Yeah, the coconut bra
where you
videos.
just shoot. All right, bras. So if you shoot this wood board 3 times here, you'll see the moment the defender spawns, you just left click 1 time and they die immediately. You're like, that's dumb. You're like, no.
Why is that allowed?
That shouldn't be in the game.
It's like, oh my god, look at the spawn peak. I killed 2 people. It's like, no, they just spawned. You just stated why it's stupid.
If you place a deployable shield right here, mantle it, press escape, leave the game, rejoin, Alt F4, and then spacebar, you'll land inside of the wall. Like,
so
the dumbass shit.
Dude, this made
you know what I'm talking about too.
We never even talked about this, but like it makes me think of like speed runs where they're like using, going through walls and jumping through levels, or like when they save the game then reload like a different save that they did before.
Yeah, I think that's why I've never been a fan of speedruns like that.
I'm confused what speedruns are now. Like I don't understand, like, because I know there's like 2 different versions. There's the versions that I think I would prefer where they like actually play through the game.
Yeah.
Like they can't use glitches and shit like that.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called. What is it? It's like any something.
And then there's the other one where it's like
any percent
using bugs and shit like that. And I'm just like, are we speedrunning? I don't know what's happening. Like, can I just hack the game and win it in a second? Like,
so So I do have to say one of the funniest speedruns like during Games Done Quick that I ever watched was Twilight Princess.
Mm.
And so you go into the first area of the game, right? Like the tutorial area where you're talking to Twilight and all that, right? And you glitch through this wall, fall off the map, right? Like by the bridge that's on the start screen, and you save midair out of bounds, right? You do this like weird jump roll bullshit, right? And you save midair, reload the game, and it loads the save file that is the background to the main menu. And it puts you right outside of Ganondorf, the last boss in the game, with the Master Sword and the Hyrulean Shield, like all of your equipment and shit. And then you just go beat Ganondorf, and that's it.
That's like the fucking Final Fantasy VII one I saw too, where it's like this person played through, they beat Midgar, they saved their game, did some kind of like console turning off thing trick, reopen the game. There's a new save now where they're like past Nibelheim and everything, and their characters are decked out with new stats and shit. I'm just like, what the fuck are we? What am I watching?
Okay,
what
let me
do you
ask
mean
you this though.
run?
Okay, not even a speedrun tactic. Okay, so it's not a speedrun tactic per se. Actually, I don't think that's true. In Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, there's like a certain mode where you have to try to beat a time. You get like an achievement. That's pretty consistent in Metal Gear Solid games. I think Snake Eater has it too, but it's like found out where it's built into the game where if you change the time on your PS2 to a week later, the boss dies of old age because he's like an old man. So you can literally change it, load your save by like you save, you change the time to a week later, and you load it back up, and the boss dies of old age. So it's like
I think Metal Gear Solid has like those really unique those characters, just like Psycho Mantis and
when he reads your memory card,
or he reads your memory card, like he knows what you're doing. It's like
you know about that show.
I think
no.
Oh yeah, so there's a boss, and he's literally just, like talking shit and taking control of your game. And then he's reading your memory card. And it's like, oh, you did this on this day, and just like it's talking shit to you during the fight.
Yeah.
So just to give a little bit of background,
parody of it.
Just to give a little more background though, this was during the time of the PS1 days. So this has never been done before. Or PS2. PS2. Okay, was it?
It was PS2.
Sons of Liberty.
Yeah, Sons of Liberty.
Okay,
Metal Gear Solid 2.
So he would literally like at the time no one knew.
Actually, shit.
How.
I think there was one in the first one. Now you say
that's what I'm talking about. It was in the first Metal Gear Solid.
I think the parody of it was like you have to plug it into controller port 3.
Yeah. But so basically, like Psycho Mantis is like a dialogue thing where he's like, oh, and then it is definitely the PS1 because he goes like, oh, I see you're playing Castlevania. And shit like that, and then he rumbles your controller, and so it was like one of those video game pop culture things where people were like wigged out. They're like, "What the fuck?" And not realizing the game is a Konami game, so any other Konami game that's on your memory card, it has access to, which is super funny. Like,
I think those things are like really cool, like to have that kind of uniqueness with your game or in like originality with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Speedruns like that are just
that's like the Mario N64 one where if you do the hops backwards and you crouch,
the quick hops, and you go through the wall,
and you go through the painting, you're just like, what the fuck?
That's where the whole creepypasta for the back rooms.
It's like no joke, like
no clipping. It's clipping.
I just want to know how this started because it's like when I first started speedruns, I was like, they do each objective as quickly and efficiently as possible, and like that's a speedrun, not like. Especially, it's very odd when like a lot of these bugs aren't 100%, and like they say that at the beginning of the run, and it's like, so the world record holder just got lucky.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Like, and the other person's doing this perfectly, but they're getting bad RNG.
Well, I think that's what it is. It's like when the RNG happens, it's more of like you executing in your window. So like your opportunity will come, but are you ready for it to come? And are you going to execute when it comes? So I feel like that's more what speedrunning is, but I agree with you. There's a speedrunner I watch on Twitch. I think his name is Creative Ellie. And he speedruns Dragon Quest 8, but these are like 8-hour speedruns.
Yeah.
These are like he's legitimately playing the game.
He's legitimately playing the whole game, but he beats the whole game in like 5-8 hours. For an RPG that's like 40 plus hours. Right. So like that's super entertaining to me because I'm like, holy shit, this guy's efficient as fuck. Like,
right.
Dude, so some of my favorite speedruns I've watched, I don't know if you guys have watched them, the Hitman series speedruns.
Oh my god, those
I've
are
not seen
so
those,
with
dude.
Atrioc and his
Dude,
game.
yes,
They're
yes.
so good because the Hitman series is here is a open map, here is your objective. Complete it however you wish. So like Atrioc is a content creator who does like he's a Hitman speedrunner, and then he also does like he's a marketer for Nvidia, like a real life marketer. But he has like one where it's like, oh, stand here and at this moment shoot this thing.
At 2 minutes 3 seconds,
So
shoot the
crazy.
chain out on the chandelier. The chandelier will fall, kill your target, walk away.
Yeah, because the whole thing is
what?
Hitman is you have to kill the target without getting caught or whatever, and then leave the mission.
I remember like the one that we had like on the PS2, like the demo that we had for it. I remember that shit. Yeah. That's dope.
So he has like a video of him doing a speed run in like 30 seconds on one mission, where it's like he's like, oh, you have to kill 3 targets. He's like, oh, shoot this spot. The guard turns around. You throw this bomb here, and if you like explode at this, it's just so intricate.
And Valorant thinks they're the ones that started lineups and shit like this. This shit's been around in games. All you lineup Larrys. I think it's the original in Valorant.
Have you seen?
It's funny because like you see some like things in Overwatch now, like Overwatch 2 players. It's like, get these fucking Valorant players out of my game because they're like doing lineups from spawn to hit certain parts of the map.
Well,
I'm not gonna lie to you.
The Baptiste one on the what's the Germany map? I keep thinking
Eichenwald.
Yeah, where
Which one?
From the second spawn after you take the initial point, when you step out of the front door, you line it up with the edge of the top tier of the castle. And you throw your E, and it'll land right on the point in front of the castle wall that gets broken. Yeah.
Huh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Jared, you're gonna see Jared doing that in game now.
Hey, it's a pretty sick lineup.
You may or may not see me learn that, but I think that stuff is fun. But I was gonna say there was a Mirror's Edge speedrun that I watched. I was like, Mirror's Edge is a dope game to like watch speedrunning on because I'm like, it's kind of the whole game, you know?
That's literally the gameplay.
And then these motherfuckers were doing these like flying jump kick glitches, and it like flies them across the map. So they're like skipping multiple parts of the speedrun. I'm just like, man, this is whack. I don't know. I don't get that version.
Watch a Doom Eternal speedrun. You want to talk about a game that's just full of no clipping? It is insane. Dude, people like super precise jumps. Just like it's like platforming taken to the extreme where you're jumping off of invisible walls, going through barriers to different sections of the game.
I do want to talk about this game, but Elden Ring has like a 5-minute speedrun or something like that.
I've seen that. Yeah.
Where it's like you fall off at a certain time, you get launched to like the end of the game, and it just gets. I'm just like,
I'm almost like I'm also just curious as to like who the fuck found this shit where you get launched like all the way.
These people
or, like...
definitely have like
it's a community.
They're educated. Well,
of course,
like they're educated in coding and things like that because that's how you find these bugs. Is like, you know, the flaws in the coding are like the open windows in the coding where you can try something to fuck it up.
It's also knowing the developer, like those communities know, like they make these mistakes. These are the developers' vulnerabilities. We already know that going in. So I just think it's funny. You know, it's funny you mentioned Doom Eternal, but did you see the guy who made Doom in Notepad? It's legitimately a 60 hertz version of Doom that updates, and like you can play Doom, but it's Notepad text.
I feel like I've heard of this. I thought it was for a different game though.
He programmed Notepad to where it's literally a Doom fucking what's that called? Emulator.
Oh, that's cool.
So literally it's just like text, like just like dashes and all that shit. And it literally makes the visuals for the original Doom game. And it's fucking insane. He's like, this is also like there's not anything special to it. Like I literally just programmed it to like basically make the visual.
That's sick.
So when you mentioned Doom,
that's basically what the old Doom was, right? Like
so I was just like,
how advanced technology is now. Like
it's crazy, like some of the shit you'll see that people like. This is just some random guy who's like, oh yeah, I was bored, so I just thought it would be cool to. I'm just like, god damn, this dude's a fucking wizard, like 2022 wizard.
Oh, so I did see something interesting today. A little short bit of news. Gears of War is gonna have an animated series on Netflix and a movie on Netflix that's live action.
Is it live?
Okay.
No, I'm
So-
good. They're gonna
So
have live action. Wait,
I'm definitely
I'm just hoping that it's Dave Bautista.
I was about to
as
say
Marcus
live action
Phoenix.
is gonna be Dave Bautista's in there.
It better be Dave Bautista as Marcus Phoenix.
I'm honestly down to see stuff like that.
Yeah,
I don't care for Gears of War. I do not like the gameplay. I don't like the letting the wall fuck you while you're doing shotgun shit or whatever. You know, the wall humping,
wall bouncing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the wall humping you do for shotgun kills and all that. Like,
Yeah,
I don't care for that gameplay. But I think the world is cool. Like, so I'd definitely be interested in that. Which is why I was interested in playing the game to begin with.
Yeah.
I think that anything animated that comes from a game is always gonna have like, I'm always gonna give it a shot because I also want like, I don't know, maybe this is newer for me, or like maybe I'm thinking too much into it, but I always want to support the ideas or the concepts and the direction of the gaming industry as I want it to be. So for an example, like I told you guys before, I still have not fucking played the game. Cyberpunk 2077, I haven't played the game. I pre-ordered that bitch. You want to know why? You know what made me pre-order it? CD Projekt Red came out that they were going to delay the game. And they delayed it again, and they announced it both times. And I was like, I'd much rather developers take their time and make a good game, which obviously they fucking dropped the ball on regardless. But I feel like if I don't put my money where my mouth is, then I'm just going to see the same shit happening of like early access titles that are incomplete, stuff like that. Whereas, so I have a lot more hesitation to support early access and support like developers delaying shit and developers making TV shows and all that. Because before I was kind of like whatever, but now I have more of like, I don't know, I'm more conscious about what I consume in that regard.
Yeah. I
mean, I think that's understandable with like the state of the gaming industry in general right now.
Yeah, I feel like I have to be more intentional.
Mainstream.
Yeah, because it's like I need to support the things that I actually support. Like for an example, I watched the Tekken Bloodlines anime. It was 6 episodes. And the animation, the fucking triangle shadows on every character,
it's so odd.
Bizarre.
I don't understand.
So bizarre, but I actually enjoyed it. Like I was like, okay, I can fuck with this. This is cool.
You know what I did enjoy? Heihachi Mishima's voice.
I mean, I watched it in Japanese, so the voice acting was, you know, like I'm cool with it. The English voice acting was bad.
Now he's a Japanese.
No, I listened to it in English for the first episode. I watched the first episode in English and I was like, what the fuck is Heihachi talking about?
Yeah.
This dude sounds dumb as fuck. And I switched it.
I thought you were gonna say you didn't enjoy the Halo live action series.
I just don't care about Halo as a general franchise. So
I mean, I heard a lot of people say like if you're going in for Halo, just like you're not gonna like it. But like the show itself is a good show. Is like what I've heard.
So if
it just has the Halo name and like the Master Chief costume.
If they were just gonna make Halo, right, like just a new Halo like universe show, I'd have been okay with it, right? But it's the fact of like the atrocities they did with like Chief's character in the show, where he just is not who he is at all.
Well, it's character assassination, bro.
Yeah,
it's
just
like I said, it's like everyone's saying like it's a good show. It's just like you just put the Halo name on it. It has nothing to do with Halo.
I just thought it was funny. Like on Twitter, it was like trending Chief fucks, you know, like that shit. Because Chief's like celibate in the books and in fucking.
Isn't he also like 10 feet tall?
He
also
aren't the
helmet off like episode 2.
They're like 8 or 9 feet tall. If I remember.
So the Spartans are fucking huge. It's the equivalent of Shaq fucking a midget. Like.
Yeah, and so
I'm just saying, like,
didn't he also take his helmet off like episode 2? And everyone was like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, he took his helmet off, did a face reveal. He fucking lost his shit, like lost his cool, which is like, what the fuck, right? He fucks apparently.
He fucks.
Oh, he fucks. Yeah. So it was just like, dude, this is fucking stupid. Now the best part is that the Gears series is being done by the Coalition, who took over Gears of War. So I'm stoked with that because I haven't hated their storytelling as much as other people have. And I think that they've done pretty well at trying to stick to the storyline of Gears of War. So I'm excited that they're actually a part of the making of the series. I'm pretty stoked about that. Whereas the Halo one, it was like 343 had like this much say in the script and like what happened.
Dude, talking about all this is just like I can't wait for Arcane Part 2.
Oh yeah, Arcane season 2.
Dude,
I'm just happy to
Arcane.
see gaming in this medium.
You know
Dude,
what
because it's like it scratches that itch. It's like where you were seeing the cinematics in the game before, and you're just like, oh shit! Like you wanted to keep like I want more.
They should
Like give
make
me
a
more.
movie.
Yeah.
I need
And, like,
Arcane
now
to be
it's happening.
successful so we can get that Overwatch fucking.
Dude, I was gonna bring that up
like-
next, Jared.
Let
I
me
was
get that Overwatch Netflix deal. Like honestly, Netflix I feel like is actually a good place for.
No matter what
that type
has
of
happening
stuff,
at
so.
Blizzard, like the people that are in charge of doing
Cinematics.
the cinematics in Overwatch, the storytelling, the animations, everything across the board in these cinematics, like you can actually tell like there's actually passion and like thought and care put into it.
Yeah.
And it's like just keep that up and give us a show or a movie or just something.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of the ones where it's just like they
Honestly,
really
fuck Overwatch single player. Just give us that.
Yeah, just give me you could scrap all a single player and give me that and I'll be content. But I think it has to do with like obviously the vision still being there and them upholding a certain standard because I feel like one thing that Blizzard's always done well is cinematics. Like every time I watch a Blizzard cinematic, I get fucking hype. Between the music, the art direction, the storytelling of just a simple cinematic. Yeah.
I still get goosebumps watching the Lich King cinematic. Every
the Lich King. Dude, even the fucking Burning Crusade one with like Illidan in the back. It's also the voice actor of Illidan just going so fucking hard.
No, you know which one I surprisingly like the most is fucking BFAs.
BFAs.
Like when Sylvanas says for the Horde and when Anduin says for the Alliance, both in one cinematic, that shit would epic as fuck.
Actually, you know, I wasn't thinking of BFA. I actually really love the Legion one where he's talking to Anduin like as a letter and he's on the ship and it's fucking King Varian. Dude, just so badass.
Yeah. But
and then I mean
also,
the OG one too, the original.
Oh, the OG one set the fucking tone for that game. That was fucking, and not to mention the time that came out. Like holy
that
shit.
cinematic holds up, and it was like made in 2005.
Even though it's like, even the last one for like Shadowlands, like that shit was fucking amazing too. Like, who saw the fucking the sky shattering coming,
right?
Or any of that shit. Like just the way it looked and the way it like took place. Even though everyone hates that she defeated
the storytelling was whack as fuck. I think that's a whole for Shadowlands, but
off the initial cinematic, I legit made a dwarf hunter and got a polar bear pet.
Dude, I was like,
so many people.
I was in game and I was like, where the fuck are these totems that I can swing at people?
Yeah,
like I want to fucking hit a bear with a totem. Like what the fuck?
Yeah,
but also like that's why I was interested in the mage. That was my first character, was a fucking undead mage.
Undead mage.
Yeah, it's just like those archetypes that you saw. Were like that's like Warhammer when the Warhammer MMO came out.
Oh,
watching the Marauder, the one that has the changing like arm. That immediately I was like, I'm playing that class. I'm playing the class.
And you did,
That's the only class I really played. Like,
dude, that's why I was into the fucking, the paladin class, the warrior priest, when he did the Sigma with the yellow eyes glowing, even though he got fucked up by the Chosen.
Dude, that was like when I was watching the Burning Crusade cinematic. I even like that one because it's got the Draenei paladin. What's his name?
Fucking
You
God.
know what I'm talking about? He's going ham with the war mace.
Yes,
dude, the way he was smiling, dude, like that boy was cruel. He smiled with blood on his face.
I got that set with that hammer on my paladin.
Right?
Oh yeah,
that was the whole.
Anybody that's rolled a paladin at some point has had that set.
No, you have to have that set with the hammer.
That's why I made a Draenei paladin. Yeah. Yep. And also, fucking, you saw the Great Sword of the Brotherhood in that trailer with the orc.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like, and then also like the first time you like a troll hunter being in the cinematic on the raptor and shit, like
it's just that shit's fucking amazing. Those cinematics just get you so hyped for that shit, and it just shows the level of animation that they can actually achieve is super impressive. And I think, like I said, it's just like the direction of the overall art direction for Blizzard. They do a really good job of capturing emotion, like getting you excited.
Well,
I feel like with just cinematics alone, they could make people play their game, which is extremely
StarCraft
impressive.
cinematics too. Like it's literally each one of their games.
Dude, fucking not Tassadar. When he's like Undaru Tassadar, and it's
Oh, Artanis.
Artanis' cinematic, bro. It's so good. Like I get goosebumps thinking about that shit.
Honestly, it's like Artanis turned. It's funny because like back in like Brood Wars and stuff, Artanis was that scout, and he just looked like a regular Protoss dude.
Yeah.
And then you go into StarCraft 2, and you're like, who is this motherfucker?
This guy's badass. What the fuck?
This cock diesel motherfucker walking in here like this.
Dude, I feel like
man.
that was like half the reason why they sold the virtual tickets to BlizzCon. Was because of people like me that were like, as soon as it was all world premiere, right? And like you're like, oh shit, what the fuck, right? Like I watched Overwatch's world premiere live from my fucking house on virtual ticket, and like, dude, still, like I told you guys, in my top 5 cinematics for Overwatch, like that one still gives me goosebumps.
Wild.
Like
Still
it's
wild.
just cool. Yeah.
Dude, you know what's funny? I was actually thinking about that stuff, and I would actually take out Junker Queens in my top 5 for Reinhardt's. Like after rewatching Reinhardt's again.
Bruh. So your list is my list, essentially? Like
I didn't put Bastion on there. Like even though I think the shot of when he goes back in time and it's like zooming in on him with the chaos going on around him is like one of the best shots they've created in a cinematic.
Yeah. I really love the storytelling for that one. And because being able to tell a story while having a character who can't speak is really difficult, while also conveying emotion for what the character feels. Like that's pretty difficult to do. So I just feel like from that perspective, it just shows how much they have a handle on cinematics.
I've always loved Alive. Like Widowmakers is, even though she's not like a character like I play a lot, just the entire cinematic to me is just like it deserves a top 5.
Oh
So we all agree they just need to make an animated series.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt.
Dude,
but primarily around Hanzo and Genji.
Speaking of animated series, I still go back and watch fucking Arcane's
Echo,
the Echo and Jinx scene, and also the ending scene of season 1.
Yeah.
Like when that song starts playing after she kills him and all. Yeah, like all that was so well done.
Do you know what scene I really think is underrated in that one is the Vi fight with the other bitch in the bar. I think that fight, that fight is so good, and I feel like it gets overshadowed just because of how good the Echo fight is.
It wasn't as emotional as like the other ones, right? Because like in the honestly, the Echo fight's the number 1 fucking scene to me.
Yeah. Because
it just shows like who the two are, what their story was, because it's like you have no idea, because they never really talked much, when they were kids. But then you see that they had this attachment to each other, so it's like the reason like she looks up at him and he like stalls for a second after beating the shit out of her. It's like, oh shit, and she's like, nah, I punked your ass. But also just like the song and everything was just perfect.
Yeah, I feel that's what's crazy is the breaking into. Like Riot's ability to break into mainstream media is probably like the best out of any company. It's funny because, Rand's mom, her like boyfriend, right? He's like in his 50s, 60s, whatever. He turned on the League of Legends finals because it was on TV. He was like, "Oh, what's this?" Yeah, and he knows
the fact that that's where we are now.
And since he knows like a little bit about it, it was like, oh yeah, Caesars had a fucking esports division, whatever. He was just like, oh, I'm just like, let's just take a look. And she's like texting Rand. She's like, he's watching League of Legends ? Like, and it's just funny because, like I said, Riot's ability to just push themselves past just being a gaming company. I mean, because like what they have under their belt now and what they're able to, like how they network themselves and establish themselves in the culture, I feel like is the first company to do it to that level.
Where's the Project L news? Where's the MMO news? Give me something.
Dude, what do you expect? They just started developing those games. I told you guys that when they started.
They did not just start developing. Dude, did you see how much they showed on the fighting game already?
Yeah,
that is not just starting development.
The MMO is supposed to be like.
The MMO I expect
early 2025.
I'm expecting 4 more years from right now, at least.
Yeah, like I feel like an MMO is such a larger project than anything else because there's so many things you have to think out, and it's just a bigger project as a whole. There's so much more work to be done. And there can't be gaps,
I think I also do appreciate, though, kind of like what you're talking about before, like the way they're doing the marketing right now is like they're not showing each step. which is probably better because a lot of games that have done that now is just like I think it essentially changes their direction when they hear certain feedback at certain points of the process, where they're like they do it like they do it like they do the change consciously or unconsciously, like just from hearing it, a part of them starts feeling differently. So it's like keeping it in the shadows. They get to focus on what their plan is and just stick to that plan.
Yeah, you get
until they
to
get to the
you
point.
get to have an idea, and you have these systems, and you get to bring it to fruition, and then you get your feedback. I think now one of the major problems is you have all these companies who have early access titles or just games that are like every step of the way has to be broadcasted because they're trying to make something of it and trying to get like traction and all that. Whereas they're in a privileged place where they can just hold on to it, and the moment they're ready for you to consume it, they'll just drop that shit on your forehead. Like it makes me think of Legends of Runeterra, even though that was more of a flop of a title for them. They just wait on that. I mean, that one, what was the Steam game that they I know they didn't make that one themselves.
Are you talking about the platformer that has Echo in it?
No, not the Echo one. The one that has
the Ruin King.
Ruin King.
Yeah, the Ruin King, like
the turn-based.
Being
RPG.
able to sit on those different things and just release them, I feel like it makes the process more seamless, because I almost see now where the gaming industry is so negative. The moment you do one thing that no one likes, if they don't like, and it could be a great, brilliant idea, but then you're like forced to change it because the community doesn't see the vision, because they don't see the whole picture. They only see what you showed them.
Well, that's what I was gonna say. Like, Riot is pretty good at keeping things under wraps in comparison to other companies that have all of these data miners and these leakers and stuff like that. That, like, as far as League goes, it's normally just like the upcoming skins for like the next event, which who gives a shit, right?
I don't think you ever really know the new characters anything.
Oh, the new character, you don't know them until they're like pushed to the beta,
right? And then like there's only been a couple of times, like way back when, like, 5 or 6 years ago, where I can remember an actual character being.
Well, I think there's also like there's usually like hints in the lore and stuff like that, right? But it's not it's nothing like, it's just like they're part of the lore in this way. It's not showing you anything of the true character.
Yeah, but
the
like
gameplay or anything like that.
When I think back to other titles they've released, like Valorant and stuff like that, we knew it was going to be an FPS that they were working on. They announced that they were, but we didn't know what it was going to be.
We didn't know what kind until the beta came out and like all the top streamers were playing.
Right, because I don't remember reading anything online anywhere, and I was scouring that shit because
I was so disappointed.
Yeah, honestly, I remember that feeling of being so like, oh my god, League, like Riot Games has their own shooter. I'm hyped, and it's like, oh fuck, it's CS:GO.
It's fucking CS:GO, son of a bitch. Yeah. But like we didn't know anything about it, which is crazy in today's world, because like I mean all of GTA 6 got leaked. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Like, but that was from like a hacker. I feel like,
like
majority of game leaks come from internal things. I actually think majority of leaks happen on purpose. Like I actually think that that's one of the ways that
like
developers
marketing strategies.
Yeah, it's a marketing strategy, as well as like it's kind of like a test. Like they're like, ooh, what if we just play
it's like when they're uneasy about something in the game, they're like, I wonder what the feedback is here, right?
Dude, I think one of the best like anti-leak stories is Apex. Do you remember with Revenant what happened?
Oh, where he's supposed to be what's his name, the other guy instead,
the hammer guy. Right?
Yeah,
there was a leak in the like data miners fucking data mined that the other dude in the little
the one that he kills
that he's being interviewed for, right? They data mined all of his abilities, what he was supposed to look like. They even put fucking models, like in-game models of the character with like skins and shit, right? And so that people would data mine that shit and leak it, right? And then they put out the cinematic the day that Revenant came out, and Revenant
it's him having the interview,
I did not know that.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
And so Revenant comes up and murders him, and then they came out and made a statement. They were like, because of the data miners and the leakers constantly leaking shit, that character will never be in the game. Everybody was upset because he was supposed to have like this melee weapon, like hammer ult and shit like that, right? And they're like, he'll never be in the game, and he's dead, and you guys get Revenant now.
Yeah, I think that Apex has done that with a couple other characters, because there was more. They've had multiple leaks, and
Well,
then
they
it just
trolled-
turns into like they're just trolling people now.
Yeah,
They're like,
they
no,
trolled with
fuck you.
Catalyst, the
Yeah,
most
Yeah.
recent one.
Yeah.
Because
Wait,
Catalyst
what
was
happened with
supposed.
Catalyst?
So Catalyst was supposed to. Her ult was supposed to be like what was the tower thing from Fortnite? The Insta tower where you threw it down.
Yeah, I know what you're talking
Yeah,
You know what
about.
I'm talking about?
Build
Her
a fort
ult-
or whatever.
The Porta
yeah,
Fort.
Porta
Porta
Fort.
fort. That's what it was.
It was supposed to be like that, like a pillar that went straight up, and she would be on top of it, right? And then she was supposed to be able to build walls, right? That were destructible, right?
It's a
And
Fortnite
ramps.
character. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah,
It was legit a Fortnite character.
She has a pickaxe, so she can like break her own
Um,
walls, and she can replace it with metal, wood, or
She
but,
has unique
like-
guns across the map.
But like for the longest time, because they put a build into the game that people could, data mine and go play, right?
Mhm.
And where you could test her abilities and stuff. You could put the ramps up, the walls up, and do her insta tower, right?
Right.
And then it comes out, she's got a trap. She reinforces doors, right? And then her ult is a giant wall that's
Right.
supposed to block scan characters from being able to scan. So they completely trolled the entire community. But
In a way, it's like they make the leak, like that part of the leak, easy to get to. So it's like
Oh,
people
yeah.
get that, and then they they don't dig deeper.
right.
So they focus on just working on what their true intention is.
Yep.
Kind of like what we
And-
were talking about before.
Yeah, because everybody was calling Catalyst the Fortnite character because of
Yeah.
the whole ramps and walls and instant tower thing. But I just think it's funny that like Riot doesn't have that problem, and then Apex has solved it by trolling the community back. So
Yeah, it's really interesting because Riot's like such a bigger company with a bigger development team, but they have zero internal leaks. So I just wonder if
And
they're just so
censorship.
strict about it, where they're like, no, we will fuck you.
Well,
Like,
Well, I
I mean,
think-
Riot's also the one that came out with Riot Vanguard. Like, what other company has done something like
Right.
that?
I think
Yeah.
also too, I think it's the community at Riot as well, as like people are working on passion projects there, as opposed to like I feel like Riot
Well-
Games gives a shit. Right?
Well, it's
more than
it's
some
like
other
what everyone
companies.
says. It's like Riot's the new Blizzard, right? Like,
Right.
Blizzard was the big boy before, and like they've
Mhm.
fallen off, and now it's Riot. So there's a lot. Like Riot, I think is the company that has everyone's respect
Right.
right now.
they're just the big
Like what-
dogs in the industry right now. Yeah, like in the best way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I just think that a lot of people have pride in their work, so a lot of people don't leak that stuff. I'm sure there's legal repercussions there, sure. But I'm saying the majority of people aren't going to want to internally leak something.
Yeah.
And the leaks that Riot does let out, they let out on purpose.
Right.
So I think that it's more along the lines of like people really care about the projects that they're working on, so they don't want to leak anything because they want it.
So you're cutting out a little bit, but I think we caught a majority of it. But so you're saying that people don't like working
Why
at
is my
EA.
mic? Oh yeah.
Do people like playing EA games still?
I don't even think.
Dude, do you
should
ever-
save that.
do you ever
we,
get
we,
ex-
we should we should save that for the next fucking podcast.
Do you guys ever get excited about a game and then you're like, fuck, it's made by EA? You're like, fuck, it's made by Ubisoft. You're just like, why?
Every
like,
game that those two companies make, yes.
Oh, dude, Ubisoft. It's like, oh my god, this game's gonna look fucking amazing.
Dude,
But it's gonna be
honest-
so buggy, and I'm gonna fucking hate it.
Ubisoft is honestly one of those developers for me where it's like they have some of the greatest ideas for
Yeah.
games, and
Dude,
then
the
like,
graphics always like.
and then the
at the
execution
time,
comes
I'm like,
out,
oh
and
my
I'm just
God.
like, this could be
Yeah,
like
it's
the number
almost-
one game. I
it's
don't
almost
understand what
like
you
you
did.
play an Ubisoft game and you're like, I wish you would just sell your ideas. Stop making the games.
Yeah,
just sell your idea.
You're the idea guy. You're not the execution guy. You're
Well,
the
All
idea
right?
guy.
Just send it to Riot, send it to Blizzard, send it to someone who knows how to make a fucking game so I don't have to play this garbage heap. Because I get excited because you're teasing me. It's like dangling a carrot in front of me. Like, ooh, look, new idea.
Ooh,
And then I eat it and it's a piece of shit.
ooh, you
all
really
right?
like the gameplay, but the net code is shit.
Like it's just they're always
Like,
right
I even
there.
I even
So
think
annoying.
For Honor is like a really
I
refreshing
was just
take.
about to say.
But it's just it's a pile of dog shit. I like it's
Well,
trash.
it's just like the mechanics you make up. They're just not good. They're not healthy for the game.
They just
Like,
they
and
can't,
that-
they can't balance shit in their games.
Yeah, that's most of what happens with Ubisoft. Like I mean, not even counting the Tom Clancy games, right? Like Assassin's Creed, amazing idea. For Honor, amazing idea.
Mhm.
What's another one? Fuck.
Ghost Recon.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
that's a Tom Clancy.
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying like other than that.
But like just their games in general, they're such unique and like original ideas that like once they come out, it's just like fuck, man. I want to like this.
EA is like the opposite, where you're like, this game sounds fucking super, like, but why is it good?
Well,
why am I having fun? And then you're like, but wait, why am I paying $50 for pay to win? How did I get here?
EA's the one that makes the game you didn't know you wanted.
Right.
And then you're mad. And then you're mad about it.
Knockout City.
Yeah, like you're like, oh shit, okay.
You're like, fucking dodgeball? Hell yeah.
Yeah. So like they hit on that point, and that's the only point they hit on.
Yeah.
And then they're like, now the Predator comes out.
Right.
Yeah, they're like, ooh, I know you're really enjoying this game, but let me say I'm gonna fuck you. Don't worry. And they're just like the whole time in the back, like, ooh, hee hee hee.
Right. Like
they're just scheming the whole time.
They're the ones that bring the pizza for the game.
Yeah.
No, they have the bucket of popcorn, and then they're like, "Oh, you should reach in and grab some."
Go to the bottom.
Butter in there.
Yeah. Oh, is that your dick step, bro? What? Huh?
Why is there a hole?
Wait, why is it $60 to grab that? What is
that? I think that's a good place to end episode 10. So thank you guys for tuning in. Let us know your thoughts down below, like normal. Hit us up on Twitter, whatever you guys want to do. And we'll see you guys next week. So thanks for tuning in.
Appreciate you guys.
Later, guys.